Every day in America, we have people that go missing. There's no discrimination in the missing. They are women, men, and even children. Some people are prejudiced.
Most people believe they can detect deviancy and particularly danger in others when they really can't in some cases. He was supplying equipment to the police department, the same police department that was investigating it.
Recently, Spurlock's aunt Allyson was able to access her iCloud account, and they continue to use the power there.
Body still hasn't been found.
I'm thinking that she's gone.
It's not completely secret that there have been times in the past that she has just kind of disappeared for a while.
Okay, guys, have you seen these girls? Welcome to Talking News. Please subscribe, hit like right now so you don't forget. Hit that notification bell if you would like notifications. Okay, guys, so we're back on the Allyson Watterson case. And I'm going to go ahead and start from the very beginning. So this is all happening in the North Plains area of Oregon. So this is Washington County. And authorities on Wednesday night again searched for Allyson Watterson, a 20-year-old woman who has been missing in Washington County for more than 2 weeks. So really we're going on 3 weeks. So who is this girl and what happened? So on December 20th, Allyson Watterson, she's a young girl, 20 years old, that has been living at home in Hillsboro with her mother, father, and brother. Allyson had just reconnected with a boy that she knew from high school, and the two had been dating a few months, and that boy is Benjamin Garland. So, according to Allyson's mother, Allyson was in between jobs and planned on doing some traveling with friends over the next year. Allyson and her family are very close. They have a very trusting and loving relationship. So this Friday on December 20th, Allyson tells her mother that she's leaving to go visit a few friends. Now, I want to remind you guys that this is information that is available to the public, and that can change, and it does change. So we're doing the best we can here. So Allyson Watterson leaves home to go visit the friends, according to her mother, and she quoted, "She told me she was going to hang out with her friends. She was in good spirits. We told each other, 'I love you,' and that we would talk to each other later. We are really close. Our whole family is," end quote. But December 21st, Saturday, comes along. So according to Misty, Allyson's mother, she says she texted her daughter Allyson, and she responded that she was with her boyfriend Benjamin at a friend's house in North Plains. However, the next day, Sunday, December 22nd, Misty says she texted her daughter Allyson again, checking to see if she was coming home, but Misty could not get a response. However, there was a homeowner in the area of North Plains that said that they seen the couple walking just before noon. Later that day, a witness said that this couple knocked on their door and they asked to use the phone. She said Benjamin had on only a pair of socks and that Allyson was wearing his shoes. And this is because, according to the witness, she said that Benjamin let Allyson wear her shoes because she had lost hers. The witness said that they told her that their car broke down. After making a phone call, the homeowner said the couple left and was last seen walking down Old Pumpkin Ridge Road, alive and together. But definitely at some point, the car/truck, were not really certain what they were driving, broke down. And later we find out that Garland has stole a truck, which we're going to go over soon. But according to Misty, she has not heard from Allyson. So on December 23rd, Monday, Misty still had not had a response from her daughter at that point, and she knew something was definitely wrong. Misty reached out to her daughter's friends on social media, but none of them had any answers for her, so none of them knew anything. So around that same time, it's still Monday, and another homeowner finds Benjamin asleep in the backseat of his truck, and he was soaking wet, and there was no Allyson. Now, according to several articles, the owner drove Benjamin home and dropped him off at Don Garland's home, which is the father of Benjamin. Benjamin told the homeowner that was taking him home that his friends had left him and that he was trying to take cover from the rain. So right now, Benjamin's at home and his father returns home from work, is what we're reading, and that he talked to his son, and his son told him that he and Allyson had actually got separated while they were in the woods. So as you can see, a lot of this doesn't add up. So hopefully investigators are doing better than what we can. So right now we have several different stories that this child is telling, or he's not a child, but for me, he's a child. So this guy, Benjamin Garland, he's told this resident that lived out at North Plains one thing and tells his father another. Now, according to some stories, and I don't have the affidavit right now, it's at that point that he and his son both set out to try to find her, but some stories suggest that he didn't do this and that he called the sheriff's office to report Allyson missing. And of course, we do know he did report her missing around 5 p.m. that day. So what this article quoted exactly was that he called the sheriff's office to report Allyson missing 5 p.m. Monday, December 23rd. According to the New York Times, his father told deputies that he and his son spent the day looking for Watterson, but were unsuccessful. Quote, "We've never been able to verify this narrative," Deputy Brian Van Cleef said in the press release. When this story first broke, most media sources were listened to as out hiking and somehow become separated. But a few days later, that changed. We started hearing that wasn't the case. They weren't out there hiking. And Misty, the mother of Allyson Watterson, said that a car broke down. Sometime after Allyson Watterson was reported missing Monday, police head out to the North Plains area to search for Allyson. And at some point, police find a truck investigators believe Benjamin Garland was driving and supposedly reported stolen. So this is where a lot of people have a lot of questions, because Benjamin Garland had already had a few run-ins with the law. This included fraud, theft charge, and unrelated to this case, guys, and unlawful use of a weapon, assault, and a few other things to do with a firearm probation in 2017. Now, according to Allyson's friends and everybody that knows her, Allyson is a very sweet and kind girl. And to know that she was hanging out with this guy, it just didn't make sense. So the mother, Misty, of Allyson Watterson, told Dateline that she doesn't know where the hiking story came from, and said that she believed that her daughter and Ben were visiting a friend who lived in the area that weekend. Misty spoke openly as she could and tried very hard to reach out to anyone who might have seen something or knew something. She painted a picture of how important her daughter was in her life. Quote, "We constantly stay in contact with each other. She knows I worry all the time, so she always lets me know where she is. Because of the situation like this. This situation is my worst nightmare," end quote. It's every mother's nightmare. That's for certain, Misty. So at that point, the investigators and they get together, the rescue crew, and they try their best to search for Allyson Watterson. But on December 27th, it had been 4 days since Allyson Watterson was reported missing, and it was the last sighting of Allyson, actually. So again, the police searched 1,600 acres for a sign of a missing girl.
They searched the area on foot, by drone, and by helicopter, but they found nothing. But December 28th of 2019 rolled along, and the parents would get some devastating news, because with no luck and no more clues to go on, police end the search for Allyson Watterson abruptly, leaving the family in limbo. And we were able to catch, Allyson's mother's take on that. And Allyson's mom, Misty, said even though they appreciated the efforts of the police, search and rescue, that at the end, she still didn't have her daughter. So Misty started their own search team and set out to find her daughter, because she said she would never give up looking for her. The public wanted to know why police didn't want to continue searching for her, and they said that they didn't want to waste resources is one reason, and they didn't have any other clues to go on. So the police did get a bit of heat from the public about calling off the search. Here's a quote from the search and rescue commander, Tony Morris. He told the outlet, quote, "If I believed that she was in the area, I could find her. This wouldn't be getting suspended. We just chased everything we had," end quote. So at that point, again, we could not help but reflect back on that 30-hour delay, what truly happened between December 21st and 22nd of 2019. It is known that when a person goes missing, the first 48 hours of this information is the most crucial in order to get the clues or anything to try to find a missing person. But here sits a family with 30-hour delay in a missing persons case and still no answer. Here we are 3 weeks later. Now on January 3rd, 2020, we get a picture of this truck that everybody was talking about. And the picture of the truck was shared with the public, and it just flew through social media. And police were asking for anybody. It said, this is the stolen truck that Mr. Garland was driving the day Sunday, 12/22. Allyson was last seen. If you saw the red 2001 Ford F-150 between Sunday afternoon and Monday, 12/23, please call the tip line. And at this point, this truck is coming out. Garland has already had a few appearances in court. He's behind bars, arrested on unrelated charges. But police say that he is working with them. I mean, he's cooperative. But just something doesn't seem right. Now, I was going to put a lot more details in here, guys, but I wanted to get this video out earlier today to make awareness that this family is needing help for searching, and they will also hold a vigil tonight. So on January 8th of 2020, the sheriff's office said Wednesday that deputies were following up on various tips and leads that they received. They headed back out to the area of North Plains where Allyson Watterson was last seen. And that night it was stormy and pitch black as investigators scoured the northwest Pumpkin Ridge Road area in Washington County. And media was there as well, watching everything in hopes of a clue of what investigators might have been looking for. One of those reporters was Kendra Kent. She reported live as the search took place, but said that when the search ended, investigators wouldn't say if they found what they found and what they were looking for. But we also hear again that about these friends. Again, they mention that these two had friends that they were meeting, but we haven't heard a word from police about these friends, where they were found or not, or if they were any friends that they met up with anyway. Another question is, why is it that the police do not continue to search for a girl possibly lost in the middle of a forest of brush and giant trees? So again, we're trying to figure out, why they're not continuing to search all the time. And they say, quote, to be clear, we only search when we have something that has given us a reason to search. I believe this is a misprint, but I'm going to continue to read it anyway. So what that takes, something in our search area that is driving the decision making. And this is according to Tony Morris. And it says that he was the incident manager at the time, so I don't know if he's still there or not. But, however, we learned the nature of the tips that led deputies back to the North Plains area that Wednesday night is still unclear in most media sources. Lord knows the investigators are not talking. The public doesn't know whether this girl is still lost, alive, abducted, or anything else. The lack of knowing how to treat this is also deadly, in my opinion. I guess maybe to police, they know more. Well, that's not making sense neither, since they said they are not treating it like a criminal case. If that is the case, there is only two options left. Allyson either ran away or she's lost. Anyways, they more than have enough witnesses and clues to continue searching for Allyson, but this is not what they are doing. I mean, they are looking into the case, but I just feel like they should have had, at least at the beginning, a little bit more search efforts out there. But of course, we know they could have more information that they are leading on, but still, I think until this case is officially classified something other than missing, this area should provide more help to find this 20-year-old girl that is lost and alone. There are some things to consider, I guess, and it's types of things like this. It's been raining and it's cool weather. There is a chance for anyone caught in this, especially in the night, to suffer from hypothermia. So if this was you and you were caught alone in the woods like this, what would you do to survive and to stay warm? And I believe that most people would answer that they would seek shelter. Anyways, guys, I still believe there's a chance that she's out there somewhere. There are stories that have proven our conclusion wrong many, many times. Especially with missing persons. A lot of people just come to the conclusion right away after a certain amount of time that they're no longer there. But there have been people who have gone missing for 10 years or more and later show up out of just nowhere. Those stories should be enough to drive all of us not to give up. If it were you or me, we would want people to never give up on us, I think. But thankfully, even though there's no signs of Allyson anywhere, the family has made plans to search again for their loved ones. They are asking the public to join them. So here we are, January 10th, and the family is saying that they're having another private search, and that will begin at 9 a.m. So I'm very late getting this out. Friday for Allyson Watterson, the 20-year-old missing in the North Plains area since December 22nd. So volunteers will meet up at the North Plains near McDonald's off of Highway 26, and later that evening at 7:30 p.m., a candlelight vigil for Allyson will be held at Jesse Mays Community Park on Northwest Hillcrest Street in North Plains. And I plan on trying to get this out at least in time for that. I know Misty was watching her messages pretty closely, and she sent something. It was a picture or something, but it didn't come through very well, so that's why I'm trying to cover this vigil. I believe that's what it was. And Misty said, quote, "I will do anything to get my daughter back." And that's what a good mother does. I mean, that's just what a good parent does for their child. And Misty continued to say, and she was speaking to some news station, it's KOIN, quote, "That's my little girl. I just want some answers," end quote. Now, according to police, and this is the latest news, Benjamin has been very helpful in the search for Allyson. The fact that Benjamin said that his friends left him is quite interesting to me, though. And could Allyson Watterson be held captive? So that's the question right now. That's another possibility. And number one on my list right now is, who are these friends and were there ever friends? It is frustrating that we don't have anything to point us in a direction. It's really hard to search for somebody that you don't understand, you know, the situation completely. Hopefully Misty knows more than we do, the parents of Allyson, because her father, Alan, is definitely involved as much as Misty. I just didn't have time to cover as much in the story as I wanted to, simply because I wanted to get this out, like I mentioned earlier, to let people know that there is a vigil tonight. And if I can get it completed within the next hour, there's still a few hours that maybe a few of them can volunteer to help search, or at least sign up to search for the next go around. Definitely the story is very sketchy. Something just isn't right. The fact that, you know, these kids said they were out seeing friends, yet there's no friends around that we know of. And they say they're out in the woods part of the time, at least he does. And one witness does see that he is barefooted and he's given his shoes to Allyson. So that's a big gesture to me. That says a lot. It says that he cares about her. So that kind of messes me up, whether he would be involved in her disappearance in a criminal way, I guess. It does raise, you know, some question and flags there. So I really haven't, I don't see him as, you know, him doing something to her as of right now. I just don't see the evidence for it. But I'm not saying it didn't happen or couldn't happen. The main concern is you're just trying to put this stuff together to try to figure out where she is, simply because nothing makes sense. If the child is still out there, I know I keep calling her a child, to me she's a child. 20-year-old woman is lost in those woods somewhere. You got to remember that weather is devastating in that area. So hypothermia can actually set in 50-degree weather, given in the right conditions to do so. So the rain, for example. So that's my concern. Not that maybe she might not be here any longer. I mean, that could be a factor, but I'm trying to keep a positive note. Maybe she seeks shelter and that's where she stayed, simply because she's lost. A lot of people, when they get lost, they're taught to stay put. Maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe she's staying warm. And then the other option, who are these people? Were their friends involved? Maybe they have no social media, don't know what's going on, and they're oblivious to what's happening. But that doesn't make sense to Allyson's mother, so it doesn't to me. Simply because Allyson, she said her and Allyson are close and they keep in contact. And this is why police need to take this a little bit more seriously, that she's not a runaway. She's not that type of girl to just disappear on her own, based on her family's testament. So anyways, I just hope that they're able to find her alive and okay. It's 3 weeks, guys. 3 weeks. Allyson Watterson has been missing. I'm very curious because it's been so long, and the police pop up Wednesday at nighttime looking for something. In one article, I swore they said that they did find what they were looking for, whereas other articles are saying no, they didn't find anything. So I'm curious as to what they were looking for there. So I want to go back to the friends at this point. You know, I don't know what to say or anything. All I can say is we can support the family as much as we can. And if you're in the area, make sure you share this video everywhere. Or if you're somebody that has extra time and can afford it, go help this, these people search. If you can't go, definitely make sure that you, I'm going to try to list the GoFundMe, so that people can at least donate money to help the family to, be able to afford to keep looking for their daughter. Now, before I shut this down, I want to run this video for you.
Hi. Okay, so I guess the best information I can give you is that basically the search is expanding. We've searched areas and we're kind of moving outward. We take the information that we're getting in and we're chasing down any potential leads that we have. At this point, we've got, I would venture to guess, around 50 trained SAR personnel here, and then we've got probably that again in volunteers. Very thankful about that. And if our volunteers are going to be coming out here, please check in with base and don't just go into the search area. We'd really prefer you to come here and we can put you as we need you. Other than that, I don't know if Dad and Mom want to give an update at all.
Sure. Okay. I'm Alan Watterson. I am Allison's father. We really appreciate all the support that we're getting from the community and from all the other resources, and we just really want to thank everyone, and we want this to keep going until we find Allyson. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Misty. I'm Allison's mom. Thank you to this community for all your help. Just please get the word out to anybody who you may not be on social media or news in this area to please check their property for maybe somebody they can find a place to get warm, or just please check your property and let the people know that don't have outlets to TVs, or maybe people that kind of live off the grid. She's a very special person, and I will do anything to get her home. Yeah. Anything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Do you guys have any follow-up questions for the search efforts?
Sure. So, clarify your question. What was your question again? Sure. Yeah, so most of our search area is private property. And so for us to go on private property, we have to have permission. And the community here has been fantastic. We have had nobody say, don't come on our property. Even today, we're contacting more property owners to get permissions in places we haven't been before. And they've been fantastic. We've got, nobody has told us we can't be on their property. So, yeah. I honestly don't know. I've been out here, so I would have actually no updates about that at all. The one thing I did mention, so today with the weather that we're having, there are assets that we get to involve today that we haven't been able to in the past, and that would be our drones, and then we've also asked for National Guard. So if you live in this area and you see that, that's an asset that we've called in here. So we haven't heard yet. The way that works is they have helicopters waiting. They got to call in crews for the helicopter. And so that's what's being done right now, is they're making the call outs to get crews for the helicopters. Yeah, that's a very good question. And so there is a lot of social media, Facebook stuff, just stuff that's on social media. And I would really encourage people not to perpetuate information that is coming on Facebook. If it's not coming from us, directly from the sheriff's office, or maybe even the family, I would give no weight to it at all. And there has been some information on there, and it's been actually kind of fairly hurtful for the family. So I would really encourage you not to post stuff that you don't have firsthand knowledge about. And if you do, and we don't know about it, call us and give us that information.
More specific on what areas you're searching?
Pretty much everything. If you know this area, Pumpkin Ridge, Old Pumpkin Ridge Road, we're pretty much in the properties all around this area. It's probably in a linear path. We're probably talking about a mile lineal, but it's all the properties in that area. And we'll be expanding out as information comes in. Yeah, so private property, there are farms out here that have open fields like what you see behind us, right? Fields that people are actually working on. But it's also very wooded areas, very thick, a lot of blackberries and a lot of that. And that's where we're focusing most of our efforts are going to be in the wooded areas. In the open, we would be able to see somebody probably fairly easy. So we're really focusing on the tougher terrains here. And it is fairly tough and thick. So, I'm sorry? They can. The thing about the wooded areas is helicopters and drones don't see well through the canopy. But they can cover a lot of ground quicker. So in the open areas, hopefully that they would see something, and where it's not open, we'll have people with boots on the ground searching those areas. Yeah, but it would be information that would be given directly to searchers that would be privy to the case that we just can't, give out publicly at this point.
Have they found any of their belongings, any signs of her?
Again, not something I can really expound on. Just saying that we're continuing to search. We haven't found her. And we're going to keep chasing down any clues or leads that come our way. No, nothing's been crossed out at this point. There's nothing that we can say except for maybe an open field that we can see. But any of the areas that we're really focusing on, the wooded, the thick areas, we have ruled nothing out because we can't. It's just type of areas. It's tough to get 100% coverage in these type of areas, and so we are searching areas multiple times.
Is her boyfriend cooperating? Does he have any more? Does he have any more information that could help
the information that we've gotten from him has been helpful, I guess is the best thing I can say to that.
All right, we're good.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll try to do another update this afternoon. If anything happens or any developments happen before that, we'll let you know for sure. Thank you.
Sad story, isn't it, guys? I was really hoping the best for these guys. Please don't forget there is a vigil tonight. They are out searching as we speak. I'm gonna try to get this done, closed out, so that I can get this out and hopefully help them out. Pass it on, share it, and guys, I appreciate everything you guys do. Love you, and I wish you the best. See you soon.